Hi everyone, Angelina, Sparkling Deva, back with a pick card reading for you. And first of all, I want to tell you, say to you, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays in case you do not celebrate Christmas. And I'm wishing you a lot of love and a good time with family, or even if you're alone, you know, you can still have a good time. The reading is about, we're basically going to look at what you have achieved this year so far, what you have learned, how you have grown, what you already master, and we are also going to look at what you can still do, preferably should do still before the year is over, right? What's there to do still, to learn or whatever. So that's what we're going to look at. I have to think of a title. I don't know yet. Let's just start recording. 3 choices. And numbers 1 is a green garnet from Iran. I hope it focuses properly. And numbers 2 is a, well, you can see turquoise garnet from Colombia. And the last one, and it's gotten quite dark, I'm so sorry for that, is an almandine garnet, a dark red garnet, and from Brazil or India. So I'm into this garnet thing at the moment. I don't know why. I intuitively chose these, and also in this following order. So you can also look into the meaning of these crystals for yourself, because they will add to the reading. So, and you can alternatively, of course, also look at the cards. There is 1 card from each set. So you can also choose that to tune into. That's for the numbers 1, numbers 2, and the numbers 3. So if you make your choice, I'm going to see you at the pick of your choice. See you there. Right, numbers 1, your first 3 cards. This is we're looking at what you have learned, how you have grown, how far you have come, etc. And we have Lemuria, the initiation, and break the chain. And we see here that you have risen to a higher frequency, certainly with the Lemuria card. And you are in much better alignment with yourself than you were at the beginning of this year. So things have shifted, and it feels like quite a substantial change. Even though this may be mostly within still, and it may not yet show in the outside world, but then that will come, right? It always has to start on the inside. So in that sense, the inside, the inner change is the most important one. And so you have reached a lot, you have done a lot. With the initiation, we see that you've left a lot of the past behind, old things, which can also be old beliefs and patterns and behaviors that you yourself had, that you changed, that you broke through that. So you left that behind. It can also be things from the past, more literal, right? Like a job or where you lived, or a relationship, friendships, etc. But it doesn't have to be. It can also be, again, within, more within, things you let go within from yourself. And you really dared to venture to new pastures and shedding the old that doesn't serve you anymore. And maybe these things never served you at all. And that's this path that we see here, right? Following this path that's lit to these new pastures there, even though there's snakes and things everywhere here. And likely the going there, taking that route, scared you before and held you back. But now you have done it. You've gotten the courage and the drive, the urge to do it. And Lemuria is also, by the way, saying that you are more in tune with who you truly are, the authentic you. And with breaking the chains, then we see that this entire process goes to, or has a far deeper extent to it. It's not just you and your life, this life, but it's also working or has worked on a karmic, familial, ancestral level of things. It goes further back. It's really deep. You've done a lot of work, and you have begun to free the change of things beyond this life. And I do feel that isn't done yet. That's still going on, still a work in progress. But it's really quite a deep thing. And then we have another card for us to see what you have achieved. And basically this sums it up nicely. It's healing. And then what it says on the card, I need to pick it up, I'm so sorry, but yeah, I'm 56, I need reading glasses. Heal past wounds with forgiveness and awareness. By healing yourself, you can become a healing force to others. And physical healing can happen once your wounds have been confronted. So in that sense, it heals up, it heals up, it sums up everything that came up here. But it's not just physical, although when you do heal and get to a higher vibration and in better alignment, physical ailments and things can also begin to heal and shift and change. But this is mostly on a different level, I feel. Although, again, you might notice things in the physical just the same. Right? And what it said here, what came up here, that your work of healing yourself has an effect on others. That's what we see here. Right? It works back in time. It follows your timeline back in past lives, your lineage, everything. So now we're going to look at your cards for what you can still do this year before it's over. Right, we have Shambhala initiations and solar light upgrade, and there's another one that I'll stick in later on. The Shambhala initiations is saying to basically take a rest, a time out, to retreat, retreating to recharge, trusting in the process. And this is about maybe you have done an awful lot, and then it's also important to take a bit of a break so you can digest it all, right, and have it sink in properly. And the nice thing about that is that if you do that, if you do take that time and not go full steam ahead, you may again from that place of relaxation and recharging the batteries, etc., or just simply enjoying yourself, come to get more insights and receive more gifts because of that, because you have slowed down and are relaxing a bit more, etc. And this is perfectly in tune as well to do that, because this with nature, right? Because this time of year is also about going inwards and resting, recuperating, recharging the battery, and it's a very inwardly focused time of year. So it's more perfectly in tune with that. And then we have the solar light upgrade. There's a very high light coming in for you from the central sun, that's Helios. And sunlight is revitalizing, is life-giving, it's a very high energy. And the light from Helios also contains a lot of light codes. And it works on the solar plexus, your third or fourth chakra, whichever chakra column you use, over your stomach there. I feel it means your boundaries are changing and growing because of your own inner growth. But that's still something that's you have to work on, because that's what these cards are about, right? This hasn't been finished yet. This isn't completely done yet. And your boundaries may become more flexible and yet stronger at the same time. Because if you think about that, right, it's something that's very rigid, will more easily break under stress than something that's flexible. And it's also more difficult to break through something flexible if something external wants to come through that. It's just think of rubber, you know. Rubber doesn't break so easily, and it's tremendously strong. And it can take a bounce without getting damage, sustaining damage or much impact. And I also feel your boundaries are getting wider, right? So your space from you to your boundaries, that space is getting larger. And that's great, because that means you are claiming more space for yourself. You're standing taller and you're shining your light, no longer making yourself small, which is, if you make yourself small, your auric field and your boundaries are also closer to you. You have less space to move. So it's now you're coming to daring to reach out now and energetically say, this is my space. Here I am. Here I stand. And daring to do that. A lot of fear concerning being your authentic you is slipping away. All the work that you've done this year has created that. And since this is about what you still need to do, this is also still an ongoing process. And it is still expanding, these boundaries and this entire process. It's still growing, expanding, and actually goes really well with what's going on, because I think, if not mistaken, Jupiter's influence has increased a lot as well. Something has moved out of the influence of another planet. I'm not certain which one anymore now. And we have moved into Jupiter's influence. And Jupiter is all about expansion and abundance and things like that. And so that's perfectly in tune with that. And for you, it will continue to expand for at least another couple of months, I feel. And for some of you, maybe even longer, depending how far you've gotten with this process. And maybe you are already standing up in your light, but it needs more consolidating, more anchoring. So it's really solid and grounded, and that you really empower it and stand solid as a rock in that sense, right? And let's see, we have then, this is your last card. I'll have to read it, and then I have to I'll stick this one back just to have something there. The great master Paul is Chohan or Kohan, I'm not certain how to pronounce that, of the third ray. He lifts people's spirits and sets their souls free to create beauty and inspiration through music and art, and also in practical ways. This card encourages you to communicate your essence by writing, painting, or in any heartfelt manner. Call on Master Paul to help you express your visions, and he will co-create them with you. These visions will hold such light that people will be touched by them, thereby accelerating the plan for Earth. And Master Paul carries the flame of liberty and is helping you to set you free. And that especially, this is much about being creative, harmonious, and again, being yourself authentically, and from there expressing yourself. But it's also about freedom. Master Paul the Venetian, very much about freedom. And if I remember correctly, when doing a workshop, a webinar about him or with him. The color, that flame that came up in the text is mostly orange, maybe a bit of yellow as well, but yeah, a lot of orange at least. And that's logical because orange is, well, the sacral navel chakra, and that's all about expressing yourself authentically, right? And being yourself and shining your light and reaching out and emotional connections. And, oh well, I will not. I hope you get the drift of this. It's an absolutely beautiful reading, and these last 3 cards is what's still going on, what you can still achieve, do, learn. Right? So thank you for watching. I do hope it resonates, of course, and a wonderful holiday season, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Right, numbers 2. We have your first 3 cards. There's more to come. Mintakan, birthing a new age, and deep replenishment. And all the cards, these cards, say that you've done an awful lot of inner work this year. And the message with Mintakan, that's a planet in Orion's belt, is that there was, because this is what you've learned already, achieved already, mastered already this year, right? That you had a sense of not belonging, maybe feeling homesick, and then not knowing where home is, and craving having that. And in such cases, if you recognize that, it's really very important to work on the root chakra, which is the very foundation of safety and security and belonging, but also connecting with Mother Earth, our planet. And I feel a lot has been done concerning that this year. Whether you consciously did that, or it just happened by itself, or it was triggered, instigated by circumstances in your life, that's also possible. You may not be entirely there yet, but you have a much better sense of being at home within and in your life and on Earth. So a lot has already shifted. And it will continue to help you evolve this further by working on the root chakra. It's very important. And consciously connecting with our planet, with nature, spending time in nature, for instance. Or it can also be like caring for animals and plants, or even taking care of the environment by recycling, because that's also all to do with loving and caring for our Earth and Mother Nature. And all these things will, in that sense, help you root here on the planet and feel at home and create then a bigger sense, a stronger sense of belonging. And birthing a new age, that makes me feel that it may not always have been easy for you, especially this year. This card speaks of a lot of things that you had to overcome. It is even possible that you were confronted with things that overwhelmed you, but that you couldn't get away from regardless, so you had to deal with it. But if that is the case, it actually helped you. Because it's you can withdraw from stuff, from life maybe as much as possible, but you are here for a reason, right? And in order to manifest your dreams and fulfill your purpose of being here, you have to overcome resistance and step into action and your creativity. When you withdraw, then nothing much happens except for you feeling more out of place and not belonging, right? So you have to find a way to break through that, or you had to. And so maybe if you didn't actively do that or were unable to do that, just life spirit in that sense helped you by throwing stuff on your path that you couldn't get away from. So then by dealing with it, even, well, if you wouldn't like it or normally have done that, you got through the resistance, right? And this resistance and not being very anchored in this life keeps you from your own path and your dreams. Nah, so that's not helping you. I get a very strong feeling that it was time to get on with it. So, like I said, it is really possible that Spirit threw things your way this year that weren't easy for you, but that you simply had to deal with. And that helped to lower or completely remove your resistance. So you are now far more rooted and anchored and ready to fulfill your dreams and walk this life path. And with the replenishing, I'll move that here. These cards are somewhat larger, so I can't fit 3 in one go. You also manage to fill with this card your own cup with love or anything else that you needed. And that is about the ability to replenish yourself as opposed to seeking that in the external. So becoming less dependent, right? Because seeking anything to fill a void within in the external makes you codependent. And a lot has shifted in that. So you're now far more self-reliant, able to stand on your own 2 feet, even though it may still be a little bit unstable. But a lot has changed in that. You have done it, right? And you really have achieved an awful lot in that sense. Come a long way. Because it's quite the way from feeling you don't belong and feeling homesick and not knowing where home is and maybe not even wanting to be on this planet in this life, not loving your life and so on and so forth, to a place of being okay with that and being able to sustain yourself, to replenish yourself and to anchor here. That's quite the process. And then we have one more card for what you have achieved and already, right? And then we have trust. You have learned to trust yourself and your own inner guidance. And I do think that, again, this is an ongoing process, but it is happening nonetheless. Learn to trust yourself and your intuition more and more. Keep working on that. Keep working on it. But also trust that you are meant to be here and that you have a clear purpose on this planet, in this life. Even if you cannot feel that or see it yet, right? Just trust that it is so. And that means that you trust the universe, that you trust Spirit, as well as yourself and your higher self. Because you made the choice. You chose that before incarnating. And trust that everything will come in time and that everything will become clear in time as well. So if you have a need to know right now what your purpose is, what you need to do, try to let go of that as much as possible. Just trust. Be in the now, be in the moment, and trust that all is okay. Everything is in divine order. Right, now we're going to look at what you can still do this year, and possibly that will spill over in the very early stages of 2023. We have star gathering and Merkaba activation. Star gathering, you may be someone who's intrigued by stars, looking up at the heavens a lot, enjoying that. And if not, then maybe you are a very dreamy person. And that's okay as long as you are still grounded and connected here on Earth and with yourself. So not like looking up at the stars and I don't want to be here, I want to be there, that kind of thing, right? Because then you're stepping back into the not belonging, not feeling at home, and so on and so forth. If you can stay grounded here and then look at the stars and enjoy it and so on, that's perfectly fine, right? And the message from that card is also that it's time to connect with your star family, and that will aid you in feeling even more at home on the planet, right? And give you a stronger sense of belonging. And so the way that will go is that you might start to meet people that really strongly resonate with you. They might suddenly come your way. And again, as long as you remember that you chose to be here and are meant to be here, and remain properly connected to yourself and and being here and on the earth, etc., then you are home. And right, so the more you keep your focus on, I don't want to be here, whatever, not being happy with life, you don't feel home. But it is also within you. And Merkaba is when all the things that I mentioned have occurred in plenty, right? Then you can go up in vibration. Then you will go up to a higher level. And that works twofold. It helps you to anchor deeper here in the physical, on the planet, in your body, and so on. And at the same time, it allows you to go higher. And it will also, I feel, and this is a very powerful message for you, because I get goosebumps all over. It will also fine-tune your energy when that happens. And what I mean by that is, like, it's as if you were broadcasting on a number of radio frequencies, and then you're also attracting all kinds of things, right, from these frequencies. And you can't keep an eye on all these frequencies in one go either. It's very difficult. So then all kinds of things can happen in your life, and you might not even be aware of it. It's like, where the hell did that come from? Well, it was on one of your frequencies that you were transmitting that attracted that. But now with this, when you move in a higher vibration, you start broadcasting on one frequency, one radio station, and that's your own authentic, real, pure radio station vibration then, right? Your own authentic vibration, your essence. And then you start attracting things and people and situations in that resonate with that. All the other ones that didn't really serve you and that you didn't even want to attract, but did anyway because you were sending signals out on these vibrations, they fall away. And that's absolutely wonderful. And that's what you can still do, or that might still happen for you now, right? Because you've come so far. And then your last card. Yeah, oh, and you know what's funny with your reading? We had the, sorry, the Mintakan card, which is a, like I said, a planet in Orion's belt. And that speaks of the feeling that you don't belong and not feeling good in life, and all that stuff comes from that card. This card also speaks of that, we're focusing on the stars and then not really being connected here on Earth, etc. That's also part of the message of that card. And then, so that goes back, that relates to the message from Mintaka. And then we have Orion. Oh, I'm sorry. We have Orion, right? Like I said, Mintaka is a planet in Orion's belt. So there's a lot of confirmation coming up in your reading. Yeah, a lot. Maybe you feel very drawn to Orion, or seeing Orion in the sky as well. It's very possible. It's easy to find, right? To see the belt as well. Anyhow, the great masters of Orion invite you to visit Orion in meditation or sleep to receive a download of cosmic wisdom. This is an honor, so prepare yourself with intention during the day by showering, lighting a candle, playing sacred music, or walking in nature, and then you will receive much spiritual light. And again, doing these things is all very physical, right? Very grounding, being here. And then Orion is the soul star chakra of the universe. So it might be, you might find it helpful to ask Archangel Mariel to light up your personal soul star chakra, which is above your head, to facilitate your connection. And Archangel Mariel's color is a magenta, pink reddish color. It's a him, yeah. So, these are the things that can still happen for you, that you can still actively work on if you choose to. That will help you and further you in your process. So I hope it resonates, and this is your reading. I'll be back again soon. Bye-bye, and have a wonderful Christmas time or holiday season. Number 3 for you in the cards. What comes up mostly is that this year has been a lot about very deep healing, really deep, at the cellular level even, you know. So the messages of the cards are also that a lot of stuff came up and out in order to be released, for you to have that healing, that deep healing and that transformation. So it can in that sense be that your year wasn't a very pleasant one in that sense, but a lot has been let go from your body, from your physical body, emotional, mental, etc., your energy bodies as well. Because this is really, really deep, and it's very possible that you had to move out of a pattern of fight, flight, freeze, and as you were doing that, a lot of inner child things, issues, patterns came up as well that you had to deal with in order to heal them. And then we see that with Mirror, needing to look at what triggered you, who triggered you, and why they triggered you, and to come out of that, right? To heal that. And also, that's not just the bad stuff, so to speak, that triggers you, but also becoming aware of good things that can also trigger you, mirror you, right? To make you enthusiastic and inspire you to do things and to learn things and to grow, and or maybe get another job, dare to do more, whatever, you know. It's two things. It's not just the bad, it's also the good. Becoming aware of that, noticing that, and taking in more of that, and focusing, because focus comes up later on as well. That's funny that I'm now mentioning that. Focusing more and more and more on these positive triggers, because these do you good. But in order to get all there, you might have to deal with old stuff first. Well, you've done that already, because this is what you've already been through and have done for this year, right? And so, yeah, and also what comes with that, with Mirror, is beginning to see, becoming aware that unpleasant situations or people that trigger you, mirror you, are actually like opportunities to learn. It's in that sense as similar as when you are single and you go dating, and you attract men or women that really are not the ones that you want, right? And then you can sit there like complain and like, yeah, well, Jesus, and they're losers, or they're ugly, or they're this, that, and the other, anything, whatever you do when you complain. But you can also look at it from another point of view, like, okay, I am attracting these people, and how is that? And then you are beginning to effectively use them as mirrors to see and learn and grow and overcome. And each time you then overcome something within yourself, you will then notice that you start attracting different people, different dates, different men or women. And when you do these things with awareness and are conscious of that, then mirrors are not just really bad, you know, because they are opportunities to grow and learn. And you've done that a lot, and it maybe you didn't do it very consciously, maybe it was more a subconscious thing that happened, but it happened nonetheless. And this is what has been the result, or is the result, this deep healing. And that could still be going on, that it's still being released, oozing out of your body, right, and your system, and going. And then we have to stick that in. The warrior woman. I hope you can see it, because I had to put the lights on. It was getting so dark. Have you answered your deepest calling, is what it says at the bottom there. And then it tells you that you're here for a reason, and that you're being called to bravely pave a path for that reason. And have you answered your highest and deepest calling? And also to know that living from the heart and soul is not necessarily always a smooth path. It's not necessarily an easygoing path, right? And you likely have noticed that this year as well, that it came with ups and downs and difficult things. And like I said at the beginning, it might not have been easy per se this year, but you've gotten far nonetheless. And also says this card, the warrior woman, that if you have resistance towards following a call, an urge, then that call is really very important for your soul growth. Sometimes fear is an indication that you're facing the right way. That's so typical, isn't it? Because when you fear something, you really want to just hide and go away from it, right? But yeah, often it's a clear sign that actually it is the mark that you need to hit, that you need to go to. And yeah, so try to remember that, right? And often you just need courage to then go for it anyway. And in situations where you need courage, often go with a bit of fear as well. And yeah, so courage comes from living from the heart, because then you overcome that fear, and then from the heart you answer that call that you feel, that yeah, it's really quite deep. And again, the message to think of your fears as opportunities to expand. That came up with a mirror card as well, rather than things that keep you stuck in place, and you know, and maybe even make you feel like you're a victim or something. That doesn't help you. They fear also can be an opportunity to expand and grow when you face your fears. And that's why it's so bloody important to step out of your comfort zone regularly. Yeah. So, and then your last card from what you have already learned and achieved this year. Then we have focus, that I already mentioned earlier. When I said myself, I said focus. Let me see, I want to get the booklet for that. To see what it, because there was something in there. Right. Yeah. This says that. Oh, this is also what you already done. This also speaks of fear again, which is funny. It really all comes together, which I love. It's just confirmation, right? This is about focusing. Also, that it's time to clear away clutter in your life and and focus then, right? And to clear away anything or anyone that you no longer need, and to avoid distractions. And when you seek active distractions, you are avoiding what you know needs to be looked at. And this distraction prevents you from healing the parts of yourself that are hidden from your conscious mind. And the mind is the brain in action. That's the mind. The mind is really very good at that, at distracting us. So we, especially when have a bit of fear of facing things, right? And then the mind distracts us, so we do not look at it, right? It's like it's even easier to start looking at other people and telling them what to do and how they should do it, and then you do not have to look at your own stuff, right? That's also a form of distraction. And your subconscious mind is asking you to bring to light issues that you have not wanted to take a close look at. Fear was stopping you from dusting the cobwebs off. So again, that fear thing comes up, right? But you've dealt with that for the most part, I think. And also with the focus card, it's important to not scatter your energy and focus, as that will prolong the process of being in between phases. Because that came up. Sorry, I forgot to say that. That was silly. With this, it actually says that you are in between phases. You are going through this healing and transformation. You're not completely there yet. Again, I'm so sorry. I should have said that. I forgot. And if you aren't focused and scatter your energy, allow distractions to come in, etc., then this phase of being in between, right, in the old and the new with the transformation, will be longer, and you are very close to a breakthrough, to getting there. And keeping your focus will greatly help that. And if you don't know what to focus on exactly, if you're kind of like, yeah, what, where, how, then just bear in mind that you don't seek distractions again, like I already said, right? The distractions that aren't serving you. And of course, you can take time out and relax and enjoy, etc. But don't slip into a mindset of letting everything that you've worked so hard for slip through your fingers. Because what you have achieved so far this year has not solidified and anchored just yet, not yet. And meaning that if you now let it all go, like, right, or seek distractions and get lost in this, that and the other, get scattered everywhere, then you could lose everything that you've worked so hard for. And I do think you've worked really hard this year. So bear that in mind, that you keep your focus. Right, your last cards, we have the Sword of Light and Sacred Inner Space. And the message of these cards is that there is still, these are about what you can still do this year, right? And this might actually really help finish off that process, or help anchor it in and solidify it. They show that there still is really work to do concerning that process. The Sword of Light is telling you, first of all, that you are on the right path, of the path of light. So you're going in the right direction for sure. You're doing the right thing. So that's really great to know. It also says that there are still cords to cut, and energetic cords that bind you to situations, places, people, relationships, etc. You will know which one that will be for you. So look at that and work on that. Cut these connections and detach from things that don't serve you anymore, that hold you back. And again, that can also be your own, that are still inner belief patterns and things, and that you need to be done with. So it can also be on the inside, but I feel this is, for the most part, with the sword, the external, with places, situations, people. So it's really good to work on that. And then if you do that, if you cut away cords and connections, literally break connections with people because they're not the right ones for you, then there might be a bit of a void for a while, but then have trust, and it will take a bit of time then possibly to reconfigure your circle of people that you have around you. But that's fine, you know, you will attract them in because you're on the right path. And when you close, well, we've all heard that, right? You close an old door and new ones start to open. The new ones will not open as long as these old doors are open. First have to close those doors, right? So that's something that comes up for you that is still important to work on, to look at right now. And you can feel protected. I'm so sorry. You can feel very protected when this is all going on, because this is the sword of Archangel Michael, and he's extremely powerful, by the way. Really, really very strong masculine energy, very protective, and so you are protected. You are safe. You're on the right path. You're protected. You're safe. You can now safely use this sword of light to cut away connections that do not serve you, possibly drain you. And with the sacred inner space, it's really very helpful to have a sacred inner space where you can be you, where your authentic you, your essence lives, resides, and can come, well, surface from, right, radiate out, and in the external, that motivates you and drives you in the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you relate, and so on and so forth. And honor that space because it is sacred. And it also, again, speaks of possibly having to reclaim parts of yourself that you have disconnected from or abandoned, maybe in order to please people or whatever life threw at you. You ignored, neglected certain parts of you that actually are really part of your essence, of your core being. So if that's the case, if that resonates, and look at what that is and embrace that again, right? It's part of you. It's important. And then also there can still be residue. It can already came up with the other cards of what you've been through this year in a way, but it comes up again. So there's still residue, stuff that still needs to happen with it. Old stories, narratives, old narratives and beliefs and things that are still floating around in your energy fields. And stories that have dimmed your light, that have discouraged you, that haven't done you any good. And yeah, so I feel these are mostly from the external. It can, of course, also be stories that you told yourself, like, I can't do that, it never works out for me, and I never have this, that, and the other, I'm not beautiful, blah, blah, all these negative, stupid things that you keep telling yourself over and over and over. But I feel that this is, in this case, that came up earlier, I think. Now I feel it's more also stories, narratives from the external, what the external made you feel, or maybe literally told you that, you know, you weren't good for this, that, and the other, or it can be anything. Look at that and take the sword of light and cut it away from your auric field. Cleanse yourself, be done with it. That's what you still have to do. So there is still very important work to do for you to finish, which will really help finish off this process that you have started this year, all that you've worked on this year. And it might, in actual fact, if you do this now, what still needs to be done, shift you further. Right, this is what I said. You're still in between a little bit, the old and the new. It's not solidified yet. If you do these two things now, it might help shift you towards the new. So it might actually be a huge milestone that you can reach then, right? Out of that in-between stuff. And basically almost or entirely in that new. Yeah, that feels very powerful. And then your very last card, we have the unicorns. Let's see if I can... Oh my god, there's no there. The unicorn card. Unicorns have a very, very high energy, very much love, and yeah, and what I actually feel mostly with this, well, firstly also of course what's on the card, which you can read. You can pause it and read it if you want, and it says here, unicorns grant wishes to the pure in heart. So ask them to bring something significant to you now. You can do that. But what I actually feel very, very strongly with this card is to call on the unicorns, on your unicorn. And unicorns are pure white. Very, very high energy. Here it says 7th dimensional, but in the meantime, recently, 9-dimensional unicorns have started to come in. They come from Lyra, basically, or through the Stargate of Lyra. And the horn of a unicorn is holds such high energy, their third eye, basically, that it has solidified. Now you can ask your unicorn, just sit with that for a moment and focus on your unicorn to come in on a beam of light from the moon or from Lyra, and let it come to you and ask it to touch your lower chakras or a chakra with its horn to balance it and to bring love into it and high energy and to purify it. You can ask to have it choose the chakra that need it most. If you wish, you can ask it to do all chakras. You can go for your heart chakra. Maybe you want your root chakra or your sacral. Just allow it to happen. And if you don't know, just ask the unicorn to please touch your chakra that needs it the most and allow it to bring in pure, high energy and love and balance. And I'm going to leave you with that. I hope the reading resonates with you, and wishing you a wonderful Christmas or holiday season. Bye.